Morning, everyone. New week, new headlines to review. Interesting. Give a couple of minutes, let some of you get on. We'll say hello to some of you, and then we'll get into it. Good morning, John Baxter. Good morning, Reagan Elite. Mind folks, Reagan Elite goes live right after me. Somebody stick a link in the comments. Morning, Jeanette. Morning, Gordon. Morning, Eddie. Last Braveheart. Desiree. Morning, Andy Scott, Brian, Stephen Nichol, Melanie, Eddie, Dexter, Margaret, Lorna, Hootsman, Mark, Jamie Dodger, morning, Rosie. Wake up and smell the rosemaries. Morning, John. Morning, Barbara. Mark, Peter. Morning, George. Morning, Scott. Nice bright day in Lanark, is it? Morning, Barbara. You're going to watch the telly, so you don't know how to message on there. Fair dues. And good morning, Margaret Hitchens. Right, numbers are climbing nicely. So, morning, Carol. We'll get this one underway, shall we? It's Two Davies out the truck now at home in his office on the 22nd of 9th, 2025, where it is 10 degrees, clear, fresh, feels like 8. High today will be 14 degrees, and that'll be at 3 o'clock this afternoon. Humidity is at 84%. Wind speed is between 6 and 15 kilometres an hour, or 4 and 9 mile an hour in all money. And the pollen count's that low, it's not even made it onto the Richter scale this morning. Okay, morning, class action. Right, first up this morning, we have the National, and we also have some good news. Or is it really? So let's get the National up. And the National has a historic moment, but Swinney says Starmer must go further. As UK recognises the Palestinian state. Now, recognising the state of Palestine is quite an important move. It adds more international pressure on the original idea of a two-state solution. Now, there's been a hell of a backlash in Israel for this, and their foreign minister has stated there'll be no two-state solution. Now, Canada, the UK and Australia all recognise Palestine at the same time, and as we get into the headlines, it gets quite serious, but my fear about this is that the backlash will be on the Palestinian people by the blood-crazed Israelis. So it is important, but I say I fear for the people of Gaza because of this. I really do. And the sub-headline's interesting and all. Scottish Tory branded ridiculous after attack on inquiry into Holyrood in the referendum. Now, it would appear that our British Nationalist Unionist friends are getting nervous again as the pressure is on them. The poll out at the weekend there, if you all want to pop out to Pop Goes Scots YouTube channel with James Kelly, SNP 30, Reform 27. Throw in the other unionist parties, And that particular poll would seem to suggest it wouldn't be an SNP majority. It would be a unionist party majority. They could make a coalition. Don't get me wrong, it was an outlier. But as we see the breakdown of the Your Party thing with Corbyn and Sultana, and the absolute outrageous coverage that Farage is getting in the UK press and the pushing of right-wing ideas in the UK press is actually quite frightening. So let's take this down and move on to some of the other headlines on this stuff. Next up, we have a Metro. What's the Metro got to say this morning? UK recognises Palestinian state, Starmer's big gamble. PM insists move is not a reward for Hamas as hostages' families pour scorn on gesture. At this point in time, you'd have thought the hostages' families would have realised that Netanyahu and the West in general have no interest in their loved ones getting out of Gaza alive. At this point in time, Gaza is nothing more than a real estate opportunity. All they have to do is move the people out or eradicate them. And the same will happen with the West Bank. But recognising Gaza adds to the international pressure on Israel. But as long as it's got America backing it up, and it has, and America has recently doubled down on it, shocking its Arab allies, the situation's not great. But that's the claim from Israel, that recognising the Palestinian people and the right to self-determination is a reward for Hamas. Their inalienable right to self-determination was always there. The same as our inalienable right to self-determination is always there. It's an inalienable human right, the right to self-determination, for the individual and for the group alike. But I say a fear that this will accelerate Israel's clearing of the Gaza Strip. And of course, you turn your back on Israel, it's bloody dangerous. I hope Starmer's beefed up his security. Right, next up is the Nazi sympathisers rag, trying to parade as a respectable newspaper. The Daily Fail. Let's get it up. And what's the Fail got for us today? Labour's Day of Shame. Hamas claims victory after Starmer hands out prize for terrorism. Just let that sink in. Just let that sink in. Israel, the Zionist state, is committing genocide and recognising the people who are being slaughtered. Not the political party or the military organisation that's Hamas, but the people. Is a day of shame, is it? Hamas and the people of Gaza will not be doing a victory lap. Watch this space. Come the 8th of May 2026, it'll be a coalition of nastiness from the political parties. It's a possibility. It is a possibility, class action. As I say, the Palestinian people and Hamas won't be doing a victory lap this morning or being recognised by the UK, Canada and Australia. I can assure you that. There isn't a prize for terrorism here, and they're not recognising Hamas. They're recognising the people of Palestine and their right to self-determination. And you're right. Truly vile headline, Rosie. A truly vile headline. Netanyahu and the hostages' families accuse PM of betrayal over Palestine. There is no betrayal. And Netanyahu's no interested in fucking hostages. You think these people would have wised up by now? The Hannibal directive. They've already shot some of their own hostages. Netanyahu's no interested in hostages. He's interested in staying out the pokey. But truly vile headline. Next up, we've got the Times. What's it got for us? Palestine recognition, great prize for Hamas. It's not a prize for Hamas. This is nonsense. Hamas don't run the West Bank. They've recognised the state of Palestine. That includes the West Bank. This is about the Palestinian people and the right to self-determination and statehood. Another vile headline. And this is how propaganda works, folks. This is how propaganda works. You cannot have recognition of the Palestinian people without rewarding Hamas, apparently. Hamas don't run the West Bank. Right. Next up, we'll get The Guardian. And it's on the same headline. Starmer declares UK recognition of Palestinian as independent state. I don't think he went that far. He just recognised the right to it. Will it make any difference on the ground? No, it won't. The bombs will still be raining down on children. Civilians in the Gaza Strip will still be being put to the sword. And when they're finished there, they'll turn their face to the West Bank and scream that Hamas is in there too, and they're all Hamas as well. Then they'll go firing in there. And actually, one of these headlines that talks about Israel accelerating settlements in the West Bank. Right, doing with The Guardian. Let's move on. The Scotsman. It's nowhere near that story. The Scotsman, give teachers power to kick out pupils for bad behaviour. Thanks, Heather. Will do. Thank you very much. Right, give teachers power to kick out pupils for bad behaviour. Interesting one. Where the kids going to go? Well, Mom and Pa's at work. Because unemployment's very low here in Scotland. So Mom and Pa inevitably be at work. So What we doing with that naughty 8-year-old that's been kicked out in the street? They just to wander about, have they? Go play tig with the taxis. What a stupid fucking headline. What we really need today is reduce class sizes. How do we do that? Of course, we have to achieve our independence, so we keep all the tax and all the money that's generated here in Scotland in fucking Scotland. Then we can well afford to do that. Not real. But you can't just kick children out the building. Off you go. What a stupid fucking headline. Next up, we got the Herald. And it's beating the war drum. Size of UK military must grow to be battle ready. And I thought, who the fuck are we going to fight? Who are we going to fight? And then the answer popped into my head clear as day. Whoever the fuck the Americans tell us to fight. That was it. But it goes on to say, need to grow the size of the military to beef up NATO and counter the threat for Russia. America's not worried about Russia. But who are we going to fight? Whoever the fuck the Americans tell us to fight. That's what being their lapdog means. That's what being attached to Westminster means. And the war drums are banging. And if you're going to base your economy on the vast military industrial complex, then you need war. And unless you've not been paying fucking attention, that's exactly what Starmer's doing to try and generate growth in this economy. Right. Next up, we get the rancid, and I don't put the rancid up. So what goes on? Family plea over boy's rare eating disorder. We need Chew help. That's CHEW and then help. 6-year-old boy chews through everything, including the walls of his bedroom. His parents are looking for help. Try a muzzle. Jesus. Try a muzzle. I know that sounds cruel, but it's better than having the house fall down on you. Sounds like a really weird eating disorder the way. And if he's chewing his teeth will grind away very, very quickly. He'll get out of when the pain hits. After the rancid, we have the Sun. Elite soldier shot 7 times in live ammo mix-up. Real rounds fired in drill. Victim's life saved by vest. Think about that. Sounds like they were having quite close quarter drills as well. And somebody issued with live ammunition instead of blanks. And they've shot somebody 7 times. Fortunately, they were all body shots and the vest protected them. Well, equipment works. What is there to say about that? Equipment works. And they, what do you call it? Heads will roll for that. Whoever issued the rounds is in the shit. And I mean in the shit. They'll be going to the glass house for a wee while. And if you don't know what a glass house is, it's a military pokey. Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Oh dear. Imagine if the poor fucker didn't have a vest. Oh dearie. But I have to say, 7 body shots is a good tight cluster. That was good shooting. Really good shooting. Boys get talent. Right. Next up, we've got the Looney Rag, the Express. And this one's out there banging the drum against the Muslims again. You know, divide and conquer shit. Yeah. So what's this one got? This one's a cracker. I wonder if they really went there. Exclusive. Exclusive. Express goes inside Syria's notorious prison camps for terrorists. West warned ISIS could be reborn in 24 hours. Fear-mongering and divide and conquer. Radical Islam's back. Or could be back any minute. Just stoke the nationalist right-wing agenda here. Now, folks, I don't know if you've been paying attention to how Farage is doing this and how the right are doing this. What they're talking about is these people coming across in small boats as fighting-aged young men. They're not here to fucking fight. They're here to seek refuge. Whether that be for economic reasons or because they're escaping tyranny or famine or persecution. Yep, they're young. You need to be young to make that sort of journey. The elderly, I'm afraid, they stay there and die, suffer the persecution. Either young, but they're no fighting age. They're just young men fleeing persecution, famine, war, whatever it is. Discrimination, whether it be sexual or religious. But that's how they push their propaganda. You know, fighting age men. They're frightened wee fucking boys. Seeking refuge, that's what they are. Fuck. This sort of nonsense is the reason why England's going the way it is, and it's starting to creep out of this border the way these things inevitably do. Yeah. We're importing an army, apparently, coming here to slaughter us all. Actually, we're spending a fortune rebuilding these people and then getting them to contribute to our fucking economy. That's what we're actually doing. There are people coming here who are wrecks. Absolute wrecks. And we're having to build them up. Give them asylum. Give them safety. Give them their sanity back. And let them contribute to our society. They're no fighting age. They've not got a fight in them. It's the reason why they're here. They're beyond fight. If they were fighting age, there's a fight in them. They'd be stunning where they came from, fighting. Next up's the Telegraph, and this one scares me, people. And there's no a lot fucking scares me. But this one scares me. I say there's no a lot scares me. I might only be a wee fella, but I'm not frightened the fuck all. Except for this man. Farage, I'll kick out hundreds of thousands. And what it says is that he would deport those who have been given leave to stay. Think about that. So they come here, they've went through the asylum process, they've been granted citizenship, through that asylum process and safety, and now that they live in fear that Farage becomes Prime Minister. Now, why am I frightened of that? Well, my neighbours down the stair fled their place, their nation, seeking refuge. They've been granted leave to stay. If this guy becomes Prime Minister, that leave to stay will be revoked. And they're lovely people. Best neighbours we've had in a long time. Fantastic people. And Farage would threaten that. Truth be said, of course, truth be told, it wouldn't come to that. But what he's doing is stoking white supremacy, white Christian nationalism, white supremacy. What he's really doing is stoking division. Question is, who's he stoking the division on behalf of? But that one angers me real. That angers me a lot. Because if you've got your way here, you've fought your way through the asylum system, you've been granted leave to stay, you've got safety and security for the first time in your life, and now this fanny threatens it. That headline just sent fear through thousands and thousands and thousands of people. Thousands. And I hope my neighbours haven't seen that headline. I really do. But I doubt that Tia's not seen it. Because she's a very smart, intelligent woman. Scientist, actually. But hey, I hope she's not seen it. I wouldn't like that fear to be upon her and her mother. I really wouldn't. That headline disgusts me too. In fact, Froggy disgusts me. The man who advocates for freedom of speech so he can say really nasty, horrible things, and then when you challenge his really nasty, horrible things, he wants to silence your freedom of speech. But the question we've all got to ask ourselves north of this border is, who is he doing it on behalf of? That's always the question. Who's behind the puppet? Right, this one, folks. This one in the eye. This one's sort of mental and all. So we'll get it up. And it says, Israel lashes out at UK for recognising Palestinian state. Now I'm going to blow this one up. Then I'm going to go and share the windows. And then I'll read the bottom bit to you, even though you can't see it. It says, Starmer's historic declaration on Palestine statehood provokes furious response from the Israeli government and angers families of hostages killed or held by Hamas. Prime Minister says recognition is the only way of achieving peace in the Middle East and will help to secure a two-state solution. But Netanyahu accuses the UK of rewarding Hamas. Israel's premier insists that there will be no Palestinian state and his government will push ahead with plans to build more settlements in the West Bank. They're starting to turn their attention to the West Bank. UK will also announce tougher sanctions on Hamas following intense pressure from families of British-linked Israeli hostages and the US during 2 months of negotiations. But that third one there, Israel's premier insists there will be no Palestinian state. and his government will push ahead with plans to build more settlements in the West Bank, tells us they're about to start slaughtering people in the West Bank as well. Mass slaughter like they're doing in Gaza right now. Starmer's announcement is going to speed things up. See, at this point in time, the Gaza Strip's just a real estate opportunity, and of course the chance to access the wealth in the Gaza Basin. But recognising the state of Palestine is to be welcomed. The consequences of it, unless Canada, Australia and the UK are willing to step in and put a stop to what Israel's doing, could be fatal for the state of Palestine and the people of Palestine. Netanyahu's crashed his economy, his people are turning on him, and he's looking, and the international community's turning on him, and he's looking at any reason to keep his people on side. And Canada, the UK and Australia may well have just given him that. Right, the book's done, so that means there's only one thing left to do, and that's about to see what the stars got for us this morning. The stars go, Jay Slater horror, let my boy rest in peace. Listen, I am not going to make it. Mum Debbie tortured by TikTok detectives over tragic death. Now, I've got no idea who this kid is. I'm sorry he's no longer around. I have no inclination about why people on TikTok would be interested in this boy's death or his manner of death, and I've no intention of looking into it. None. So if you're interested in Jay Slater, whoever he is, and whatever happened to him, I'm afraid you're going to have to look it up yourself, because I don't, not interested. But folks, recognising the Palestinian state is a welcome move. Too little, too late, but I fear it will accelerate Israel's actions. And the US reaction to Saudi Arabia and Iran becoming full members of BRICS didn't bode well for the security of the region. And of course, the fact that the US didn't berate Israel for the Doha attack also has the Arab nations nervous. So a lot of insecurity in the region. It's welcome that the UK, Canada and Australia have recognised Palestine. I just fear what it'll do as the net closes in on Israel, because there's only so much more the world's going to let them away with until America and probably us are boots on the ground in the region fighting the Arabs. Fucking madness. Anyway, that's day one out the road. There's no Two Davies this afternoon, as you know. It's scheduled for tomorrow afternoon. David's got a hospital appointment this afternoon, so we've just rescheduled it for tomorrow. Okay. Aye, the petrodollar is looking very shaky now. It is. The world is changing politically. It's changing financially. And that normally doesn't go smoothly. Let's hope not too much more blood spilled, but I fear for the worst. Have a nice day on that cheery note. Bye for now.